Hey guys, how's it going? Companion here. So today I want to show you guys some of the decks I came up with right after I finished busting out all my packs yesterday. And I want to do this on one hand. I know some of you guys, maybe your creations didn't really work out too well and you have a lot of cards, you want to know how to use them. I'll give you guys my take on it. A lot of people have come up with decks since the release, and a lot of them have been successful. I think most of mine are okay. The ones that aren't, I will be sure to tell you guys the weaknesses of them. I just want to give you guys my first impression, my first chance to build decks. And, if you don't take these decks directly, and you probably shouldn't, at least maybe I can inspire some of you guys to try to make decks with similar ideas, similar combinations, and give you guys maybe a little bit of an appreciation for some cards that I got on the first day of playing. So to kick it off, the first deck I made is a Control Warrior variant. It's not too extreme. It's only got 3 Grand Tournament cards. I get it. So there isn't too much that changed, but let's talk about the differences. I included the Justicar True Heart, the card that makes your hero power a lot better. In the case of Warrior, it gives you 4 armor instead of 2 armor. This card by itself is not particularly good because it dies just about to everything, but if you're playing Warrior, you're playing a class that can really come back on the board in a big way. You can afford to have a turn where you basically play nothing. And it's okay. I kind of compare it to having Harrison sometimes against a class that doesn't have a weapon. It doesn't cause you to lose. It's just not a great card, but you can afford to have it in your deck. But in some cases, getting 4 armor a turn can be really good. Some of the slower decks will basically be completely unable to kill you, and in some cases against faster decks where they would just remove your creature with a spell anyway, you get that extra little buffer as the game progresses. So I actually think the card is pretty good. I didn't quite think it would be as good as it is, at least in Warrior, and from what I've seen so far, Paladin as well. The next card that's in is Chilmaw, the Dragon. I don't think I ever faced against this on ladder, but I know some people put it in their deck, and it ended up being a pretty good card. I think it has a pretty good fit in Warrior. On one hand, just having an extra taunt makes your deck a little bit better. It makes you able to maybe hold off a push from your opponent a little bit better. Also, yeah, the deck doesn't really have many dragons, but I think this is a pretty appropriate way to use the card. When you see this card, when you play it, your opponent just kind of has to assume that, you might have this, so it forces him to trade in a very specific way. So what that really means is it's not really a card that is 7 mana 6/6 taunt. Even if you have no other dragons in your deck, it's kind of like the Sylvanas effect, where you will trigger a very unusual line of play, an unusual way for your opponent to start playing the game when this card hits the board. So it's a pretty valuable card, and I think Warrior can afford to play a few extra slow cards, so why not? And speaking of slow cards, we have the 10 mana Warrior Legendary as well, Varian Rin. Yeah, I didn't have too much luck with it, but I'm still pretty sure it's a pretty powerful card. My main concern with this card is that with my current Control Warrior list, I might actually be drawing too many cards, and that's not usually a problem, but if there's a lot of people playing Control Warrior, and you're playing a Control Warrior that draws more cards than them, usually the game stalls out and you end up losing the Fatigue War. So it might push the draw engine a little bit over the top. The deck, I'm sure, requires a little bit of tweaking, but it wasn't really remarkably worse than the prior very refined Control Warrior that a lot of people were playing. So I'd say that at least these legendaries are pretty fit. While you may not see all 3 of them in the Control Warrior list, you'll certainly see them rotated in and out. The next deck is the Shaman, the Mistcaller Shaman. I basically just wanted to try a Shaman deck that involved the use of totems. So I have the Totem Golem, and I have the Thunderbluff Valiant. Cards like the Thunderbluff Valiant are really powerful because if you're really losing, you can just play it on turn 5. The effect is super powerful, so your opponent has to kill it. So it's kind of like a taunt. It doesn't really work as a taunt because if your opponent has lethal, they're just going to kill you through it. But if your opponent doesn't have lethal, he may have to kill the card because of its steamroll effect. So it's pretty good in that end, and it acts as like a really big card because in the late game, instead of just having a creature that's much bigger than it, you can just play this guy and start pumping out your totems, and it basically makes a big creature out of a pretty mid-rangey creature. So it has a very nice effect in that sense. But of course, it mostly requires you to not be horribly losing, which is something Shaman is not particularly good at already. And speaking of that notion, I also put in Mistcaller, which is basically Thunder Bluff Valiant to a much more extreme. I kind of thought this card sucked, but it's so cool I absolutely wanted to try it immediately. And so far from the limited experience of my playing this deck, I have to say the card is still kind of bad. It's just, I was never really able to play it because I was always losing or I was always in a marginal situation. Healing Wave, however, proved to be an extremely powerful card because it allowed me to use Doomhammer for board control, which is something a Shaman deck was really never able to do before. And maybe now, if you really want, you might be able to run two healing waves and 2 Doomhammers to kind of make use of a very flexible card. Very cool situation. Decent deck. Beast Druid. This is my variant. I know a lot of people played a type of Beast Druid on ladder. Mine is alright. I can't really say which one I like more than another, but it works fairly well. I only have 1 Force of Nature, but a lot of the beasts are actually pretty sticky, so I put it in 2 Savage Roars, and you basically just tempo out your opponent. The Darnassus Aspirate really helps towards that goal. Just puts on the board. Body, if it sticks, you get the tempo lead, and it just steamroll out of control. You get the face damage, and yeah, it just gets really crazy, really fast. I don't know. It's just pretty good deck. I didn't feel like I was really overpowering my opponents, but it seems solid enough to maybe take the shift from just a mid-range combo druid to maybe a beast-themed combo druid in the future. The bad mid-range hunter deck. Actually, I think this is my best deck that I made yesterday. It has some really cool dynamics that aren't obvious, so I wanted to describe those for you guys and show you guys why the deck has some very cool concepts that, in my opinion, really work. So, going into the Grand Tournament, people criticized cards like Ram Wrangler, people criticized cards like, what is it? I forgot the name, Stable Master. Yeah, these are like okay cards. They're really powerful, but you have to have a beast that's basically in attack mode to protect these cards or to protect you from variants, that kind of stuff. And it's already pretty difficult to set up that situation, and that's why people don't really run too many Hound Masters. So the idea of the deck is you just run a lot more beasts to really satisfy all these conditions at the same time. So cards like Stranglethorn Tiger are extremely important because they basically guarantee a beast on the board for the next turn. Also, the Stranglethorn Tiger, if you have it followed by a high main, you're able to push for a lot of damage, so it's mid-range because you can have that huge swing in the game. And yeah, you just fill the deck with all the beasts that don't horribly suck, and it makes all these cards a lot better because it ups the consistency of each one, and you can have more of them. And again, the cards are really powerful. The Beast Synergy Hunter cards, like Ram Wrangler, are just super powerful. You just need to be able to satisfy that situation consistently. So I think this is a deck that's able to do that. Also, a card like King's Elec, I think, has extremely good use in this deck. You have to consider that the card is, you're going to lose sometimes. You know, you're not going to be playing a jousting deck where you're literally going to win every single time. It's just totally impossible, especially in Hunter. And this is a Hunter card, so I think the best way to maximize the use of King's Elec, or maybe, you know, joust cards in general, is, yes, you concede some part of the deck. You have to have some early game in a Hunter. If you get like a 2-drop or a 1-drop, you're probably, or definitely in some cases, going to lose the joust, and that's not really a big deal. But you want to make it so if you get like the heavy side of the deck, that you actually get minions that cost a lot of mana and you will win. This is accomplished pretty well by having most of your mid-game spells or weapons, or just, you know, not too much of it. So this deck has a lot of like 2-drops, it has a lot of 3-drops, but a lot of the 3-drops are spells, weapons, and like in the 4 slot, not too much. And then when you get to the high end, you have 5s. You have a lot of 5s in this deck. You have 6s. You have the 7. So it makes it so, yeah, you might only win like a little bit less than half the time. But when you pick up a decent card, you're just going to win. And those decent cards are there. So I think the deck actually does qualify as mid-range. And again, I think it's a really good use of the jousting mechanic. And it kind of adds that extra little sustain to the deck. I was able to beat some face hunters with this deck, which I know for a normal mid-range hunter is a very difficult task. So yeah, I'd have to say it is actually a pretty solid deck. Stranglethorn, Tiger, Hype. And we have Mech Priest. This deck is trash. Really the lesson of making this deck is I really wanted to use Fiola, Lightbane, and Adis Darkbane to kind of use the targeting triggers of the Priest, and I wanted to use some of the mechs. But really, the big lesson is that Priest just has too many situational cards, but you have to play them because those are the class-defining cards. And there's just not really enough space in Priest to really do too much. Maybe you can get away with a pretty decent Dragon Priest, but I'd say that's really the best you can do in terms of like tribal-based decks for Priest. Don't try this deck. This deck is terrible. Then we have the mid-range Inspire Paladin. This is the last deck I made of tonight. Yeah, this deck is pretty good. Some really big swings in the game. You have like Silverhand Regent, which is kind of like a must-kill card on turn 3. It makes it so if you don't have Muster, you just have that card, and it sets up a pretty big threat for the next turn. The idea is you always require your opponent to deal with your cards, and you know, you have just clears. I think it's really important to have 2 equalities in this deck because of the ability to pump out dudes, hero powers. You know, one through the Silverhand Regent, also through the Justicar, being able to do 2 dudes for 1 cast of hero power is really powerful. Often 2 1/1s is actually worth 2 mana because just a normal 2-drop like a Knife Juggler, it'll often just die to that, and you know, you're pumping that out every single turn. It gets to a really extreme level, so that's why I included 2 equalities. I know some people ran a similar type of list but with only 1 equality. I think 2 equalities is pretty solid. Also, Murloc Knight is pretty nice. I don't know if it's quite the time to play 2 Murloc Knights, but Murloc Knight is one of those cards that if it is not dealt with, it is really, really, really hard to win the game. So it's kind of nice. A lot of the minions are pretty sticky, but if you draw a lot of the ones that are not, you kind of will fall behind on the board. Maybe mid-range is not really the correct way to describe this deck. Maybe it's actually like a tempo paladin, because if you start winning, it's really hard to start losing. And the curve makes it so you can set up a winning situation fairly consistently. So it is a pretty strong deck, maybe stronger than I even thought on the first day of play. Another weird card is Gormok the Impaler. It just seems like a decent fit because you're able to pump out so many dudes and push so many creatures on the board. It's a win more card, and that's kind of what the deck is based around. I never drew the card upon playing the deck, unfortunately, so I can't tell you guys if it's good, but it seems like a good card, and it seems like a good deck to put it in, so why not? Alright guys, that's it. I'll leave you guys off with some gameplay of these decks, and, well, just have your fun, man. I know some of you guys really struggle to build really powerful decks at the start of an expansion. It's not a big deal. See what other people are doing, get some ideas, try some stuff. Just really have some fun. This is the absolute best time to play ranked right now, and take advantage of it. Enjoy yourselves, enjoy the games, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think 2 of them might be a bit ambitious. Damn, I should have kept 2 of them. Oh no.
I can fix anything.
Alone guide my lance.
Yeah, this is not gonna work.
Check it.
Yeah, there it is not working.
Bathe in flame.
Alright.
Something needs tinkering?
Well, it's not the worst thing ever. If he doesn't have like Shredder here, I'm really okay. It might be a Blast Mage turn, but I think it'd be a mistake to attack with the Divine Shield up. Make a Dreadsteed Warlock. We could do that if we really wanted. Yes, that's an option.
Let the dark consume you.
Okay. Why does he speak words? Is it like a feral druid, I guess? Yeah. Alright. Bear OP. Yep. Yeah, I just make the power play here. Make him think he's fucked, so he's going to use Burn on my Ancient of Lore. And then I'm going to Ancient of Lore again, and because he used his Burn, I'm just going to outvalue him, like, no matter what. I don't think there's really much of a chance that it is this game. I mean, none of these cards are really worth playing, so... Wow. Let's draw some more cards. Oh my god. That's pretty hilarious, actually. That's not really worth playing, but it's a body.
Elune, guide my lance.
Yep, there it goes. Oh my god. This is so unfair, dude. We drew so ridiculously well. Like, look at that.
Well played.
For the wild.
I just kill this for fun.
For Elune.
I felt like Hybrid Hunter. Like, if I get the good draw, it's like completely unstoppable. That's too slow. These cards are good. The True Silver will help me defend it. I'm gonna keep the True Silver. Oh man, Zombie Chow. That's sick. Okay.
Put this apple on your head.
Eagle Horn. I just drew the other True Silver. That's pretty bad.
Reporting for justice.
We do force him to play Unleash the Hounds here. It does get it out of the way, which is okay, I guess. Alright. Well, we're in really good shape then. Oh, no way. No justice, man. No, it's all gonna be creatures. All look at that. Bam, that one too. Okay, maybe not that one. No fucking justice at all. Look at that, dude. Look at that. He top decks Unleash with a juggler in hand on turn 5. And I top deck a Quartermaster. It's so unfair.
For justice.
Alright, let's just do this shit.
My side.
That's good. That's pretty good too.
For justice. Reporting for duty.
Yeah, most likely that's a freezing trap. Oh my god.
To battle.
Oh, it's explosive.
Justice shall prevail.
Follow the rules.
Oh, you think it might be Bear Trap? Yeah, you're right. It could be Bear Trap.
I'll show them all.
What?
Welcome to the Grand Tournament, champion.
Why not? What?
Reporting for duty. Move quickly.
Oh, nice. That's a good Murloc. I have some idea about what that might be.
Reporting for duty.
Oh, yes.
Last warning. To arms, men.
Hard countered, boys. Hard fucking countered.
To battle. My apologies.
Oh, it is explosive. Oh, it's spell damage.
For justice.
I gotta go. I gotta go, guys. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I thought it was Bear Trap. You play Bear Trap, you know? It's, yeah. It's like a card. The card's pretty good. Alright. We probably have to play those two. Attack, consecrate, attack. Yeah. Alright.
Let me think. Reporting for duty.
That's too risky.
For justice. We must move quickly.
Okay.
To my side.
Oh! It's a miracle.
To battle.
It's a fucking miracle.
To battle.
Well met.
Alright. Truth be told, though, I don't deserve to win this game. I played so fucking badly. I'd like some more health, though. Maybe give me some more health?
Well played.
Oh, thank you.
Be purged.
Thank you.
Well fought. I concede.
A completely undeserved win. Gimme, gimme. Alright, so we played extremely badly, and we won. So, yeah, it's a good deck. I think I'm going to keep Power Shot. Oh, that's kind of crappy, but he mulliganed everything as well, so... some hope, I guess. It's a Golden Hunter, so... sad times. Yeah, we got the Haunted Creeper, that's not too bad. Got our own Haunted Creeper.
To my side.
Buffer. We can Power Shot that down if we want. Seems reasonable, actually. You generally wouldn't want to make this trade. Unless you fear kill command, then you'd make the trade.
I feel icky.
It is a face hunter, so this is quite a challenge. Okay, let's go the Kodo here.
Put this apple on your head.
Is this happening again? Are you fucking kidding me? He might just go face. Wouldn't blame him. Yeah. I'm actually not too happy about that. He's playing a face hunter or a hybrid hunter, and I'm at 16 health. So it's really hard to make this work right now. I can't kill command. Quick shot. Like arcane golem time, I guess. Quick shot again.
Put this apple on your head.
No way. Okay. We have to win like right now, basically.
Who to shoot? Death comes.
Alright. Right now we will beat hero power usage. Wish me luck, guys.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
I think we actually win the game with kill command, don't we? And yeah. Kill command is lethal. So what beast would be lethal then?
Time moves quickly. I wonder.
Double Ram Wrangler. Oh man. Alright, he has to top deck 1 damage through... Well, he can get a silence. So it doesn't have to be through taunt. Silence or direct damage.
Well fought.
Oh my god, we won.